Fabric has a direction, a grain. The threads running parallel to the selvage are the lengthwise grain. When fabric is sold by the yard, it's measured along this line. The ones crossing it are the cross grains. Usually we fold the fabric double, parallel to the selvage. So every piece cuts twice, 2 fronts, 2 backs. Each pattern piece has an arrow marking the grain line. You always align that arrow parallel to the grain line before cutting. I'll be using a tracing wheel to transfer the pattern. This other wheel has adjustable arms. You can move them to add seam allowance when the pattern doesn't include it. The one I'm using today already has seam allowance built in. When I draft my own patterns, I sometimes use the adjustable wheel to add it directly while tracing. Seam allowance is the part that gets sewn and folded inside. The seam itself is the real edge of the garment. The extra fabric beyond that line is what disappears inside the construction. This is wax transfer paper. You mark the line and it transfers it underneath. I place the pattern tissue on the fabric. I use weights to hold it in place. Then I slide the wax transfer paper underneath between the fabric and the tissue. I go over each line with the tracing, transferring the cutting line onto the fabric. Before I take off the weights and remove the pattern, I always make sure that all the notches and markings are transferred onto the fabric. Since this was only my second time ever building a pant with pockets and a fly, and the first time was about 9 years ago, I actually missed a couple dots the first. That's what happens when you're not used to commercial patterns. I later had to line it back up and transfer them. So I'm just removing the pattern from the fabric, then cutting along my cutting line, adding the small straight cuts anywhere there's a notch. Notches are those little triangle cuts you see along the edge of a pattern. When I cut, I make small straight clips into the seam allowance, not big triangle, just enough so I could see them later. Those marks are what helps you line up each section when you sew, matching the front to the back or placing the pocket in the right spot. Basically, the notches are your guide when constructing. Setting aside this cut piece for when I construct. I'm steaming this piece of linen to cut the other side. I think it's the back of the pants or maybe the front. Honestly, I don't even remember at this point which one it was. It's either pattern piece number 7 or pattern piece number 8 in this pattern. Marking and transferring the other side of the pant pattern. Same process, just mirrored. Then cutting, same as before. Now I'm transferring the rest of my pattern pieces, numbers 9 through 14, onto the fabric. And then cutting. Repeating this for all the pattern pieces. This, for instance, is a pocket piece, the pocket bag. Keep repeating this process for all the rest of the pieces. Since this pant is just a sample, I'm working on a scrap of fabric, a remnant of linen I had. So I'm just fitting these pieces however they were. I follow the exact grain for the main front and back pant, but I'm not following the exact grain for this part. I'm just doing whatever fits in the piece of fabric that I have left. Transferring the marking so the pocket aligns exactly where it needs to go on the pants, making sure all the markings and the notches match up so the placement is precise on both sides. Now I'm transferring the waistband. I think this is the waistband. Now cutting it, this pant has 2 waistbands that are each cut twice. So in total, 4 pieces front and back. The front waistband overlaps to accommodate the zipper fly, and the back waistband just gets sewn together at the center.